Hello friend and welcome back to my channel, Blue Nose Trading. My name is Tori Solis and today I'm going to be making a brand new travel tumbler form for my website, bluenosetrading.com. I decided to record my first take making this form, so I had to work through some things. To get started, I'm weighing and wedging 1 pound 4 ounce balls of clay. Once my clay is prepped, I'll be throwing the base of these tumblers on the wheel. I'm working with my personal favorite clay, Trinity Spectacular, today. This clay is a soft buff with lots of big loud speckles. My initial idea for this was something born out of necessity for myself. I go for a walk around the neighborhood every morning with my husband, and I really wanted a cup I could take with me on my walk that was plastic free and completely made out of ceramic. I then decided that it was up to me to make this cup. The goal was a tumbler with a comfortable grip and a ceramic top that covered most of the top to help with spilling and retaining some heat. To begin, I decided on 3 different initial forms to test for this mug. The first is the bellied out thumb tumbler cup. This is one of my favorite of my forms. The form works well with my drippy glazes, and the bellied out portion adds to the volume of liquid it can hold all around. This has been a staple form for me since the beginning, though the nuance of the exact shape and profile continue to change over time. The second form is a simple straight-walled cylinder. This is such a classic and easy shape. I just can't get away from the magnetic appeal and simplicity of a straight wall. This form feels familiar when you hold it in your hand, which is probably because so many commercial shapes are cylinders, like soda cans or coffee mugs. I'm going to add a thumb indent to these as well for a more comfortable grip. This last form is something I'm still developing. The idea is an hourglass shape with harder edges. I've been pursuing this form as a bonsai pot and planter design for some time now, and I wanted to translate it into something taller that could become a mug or a tumbler. I think I'm close to figuring out how to make the shape how I want it. In addition to figuring out exactly how I want this to look, I need to teach myself the best way to consistently arrive at that desired result when I'm sitting at the wheel. That is more or less what I mean when I say that this form is in development. As future me is editing down this video though, I can assure you that I've gotten these more or less figured out in case anybody was concerned for my struggles. Trimming these was pretty straightforward to my style. I give them a lift with a slight angle and trim in a neat foot ring. Inside the foot ring, I stamp my signature stamp. The lid for these is going to be a slab attached to the top. I'm rolling out this slab by hand because I don't need a giant slab for this particular project, but let me tell you what, a slab roller is definitely high up on my wish list. I'm hoping to get a slab roller at some point in 2024 as a goal. It would be especially helpful for making these travel top cups, as well as all sorts of other neat stuff and oval bonsai pots. Mostly, I do not like to roll out slabs by hand. It takes too long and it's too much physical effort. I am not trying to get old rolling slabs. I've seen lids on ceramic travel cups handled in a few different ways. I'd say they all have their pros and cons. I've seen a lot of cups that use a silicone lid on what is essentially just a cup thrown to fit the silicone lid. That is for sure one way to get it done. But for my project, I specifically wanted to design something that was entirely ceramic and plastic free. There are 2 main drawbacks to my design, and let's just go ahead and talk about them. I felt that neither one was bad enough to stop me from making them. The first thing is that these have the potential to be slightly more effort to clean. I rinse mine immediately after use and wash it with hot soapy water and haven't had any issues. If you need to scrub the inside, I suggest a water bottle brush or baby bottle brush. The slot in the back is not big enough for most people to get their hands into. That said, the second drawback is that there is an open slot in the back. Most of the top is covered, but you will still need to be somewhat careful not to spill with any sudden or extreme movements. I'm very hopeful that both of these are pretty self-evident when you're looking at the work. This isn't to poo on my own design. I think these are great. I designed them as a mug that I could take with me on my morning walk, and it's perfect for that initial design purpose. This is the first rendition of this concept, so I'm sure that it will continue to develop and grow as I get new ideas and feedback for the future of this design. This video is me figuring out this form for the first time, so this process will tighten up once I find the ins and outs of making these. That is, if they continue to do well and I keep needing to make more. It took a couple of experiments, but I think I figured out how big of a gap I need in the back and what shape I want to make the mouth hole. I take a lot of extra time to refine and smooth the edges for the top of the tumbler. I want to make sure that nothing is sharp. I also want to make these as comfortable to drink from as possible. I decided that the hole punch I use to make my bonsai pot holes is also the perfect size for the hole punch for the sipper hole. I love it when my tools can cross-purpose so nicely. To attach the slab lids, I use a needle tool to scratch or score the surface where the connection will happen. I then add slip, which is basically a clay mixture with lots of water to act as a binding glue between the connections. This essentially fuses the two pieces of clay together. It's very important that the pieces on either side of the connection are at a similar level of dryness, which is why I have had the lids resting on the slab of plaster before I work on them. I need the clay to be firm enough not to be floppy and workable enough to attach to the tumbler. Timing is always a key element in ceramic work. I put a lot of extra effort and care into every piece I make. I may spend a little extra time, but I want to achieve the next level of attention to detail and quality in my work. I used a rubber rib to shape and form the top of the tumblers. I also tend to spend too much time with a tiny wet paintbrush making sure that every curve, crevice, and detail are just so. I personally feel that if you don't take shortcuts and make the time to put love in your work, it will shine through in the long run. I never want anyone to feel disappointed by their investment into handmade work. I want to make work of excellence that's meant to perform and serve. Fresh out of the kiln, I knew from the first batch that I love these. I already have had so many more ideas for design and glaze patterns. I think for a while I'll be sticking to these 3 forms but changing up the colors. I might even make a few limited editions with some different colored clay bodies. Who can say? This is just the beginning of these travel tumblers. As of posting this video, these travel tumblers are available on my website, bluenosetrading.com. They have been initially very popular and I've gotten some feedback and questions about them, and I think I'd like to go over some of that quickly here. These are dishwasher and microwave safe, however, the clay will heat up in the microwave if you are heating a liquid in it. So as a rule of thumb, if the liquid inside the cup is too hot to drink, the cup might be too hot to touch with your bare skin. Alternatively, extra hot tea and gloves with some grip might be a cozy experience on a winter walk. Just stay safe out there and use your noggin. I have also received a lot of requests for tumblers that fit into car cup holders. My initial designs are all a bit too wide to fit into standard car cup holders. I designed a tall and skinny version of the straight cylinder that is skinny enough to fit into most standard car cup holders. The bellied style and the hourglass shape do not functionally fit into a design that could fit a standard car cup holder, but they would most likely fit into oversized cup holders. They make oversized adapters and some cars just come with big old cup holders now. My car has tiny, sad little cup holders, so I use that as the standard on the smaller end. One more note on using these in the car, the back slot is open. There is an open back slot. So please be careful, especially if you're driving. Just don't put anything in there that could scald your skin, and don't get mad if the center console of your car gets sticky. Again, use your noggin, make good choices, I believe in you. Thank you so much for tuning in this week. You can find all my current available ceramics at any given moment in time at bluenosetrading.com. For early access to YouTube videos and podcast episodes, become a patron of my work at patreon.com/bluenosetrading. To stick around for weekly art video and daily art shorts, be sure to subscribe to this channel, Blue Nose Trading. Thank you for sticking it out to the end of the video. Remember that you have great ideas that are worth exploring, drink lots of water, and I will see y'all next week.